*100 *21 hash and select daily or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
You got us on your wallet. Bobby, again, what's the drama?
Drama? Colleagues, elections for special interest groups are calling. SIGs, elections, youth, PWDs, elderly. It's time to vote for our leaders, June through August. From village to parish to district to nationals, youth, PWDs, elderly. It's time, go vote your leaders.
No!
Elections are supposed to be peaceful. Easy vote, okay?
Youth, elderly, and persons with disabilities. It's time to choose our leaders. Let's show up and participate in the special interest group elections. Starting June through August this year. Your vote, your voice. My vote, my voice. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Electoral Commission.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions. Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort, and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Okwongera okuyiga ebikwata ku musolo n'okubisembereza abagusasula. Bannayuganda bangi balina ebibuuzo ebikwata ku musolo gwe basasula eri ekitongole ekiwooza URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000.
Alikuwa nafika kwa mwingine URA na kurespect lazima mzee tuongee. Munaongea. Hakuna fika kwa nyingine na kamata faili yako naweka kwa drawer na
okutegeera obukulu bw'okusasula omusolo busobola okuyamba okuzza bizinesi yo n'okwewala okufiirizibwanga. Kati osobola okufuna okuddibwamu obutereevu. Sindika ebibuuzo ebikwata ku musolo ng'oweereza obubaka bw'obutereevu ne WhatsApp ku nnamba y'essimu 079148887 olwo ofuna okuddibwamu okuva ewa kamisona General wa URA John Musinguzi. Laba mawulire gaffe UBC leero buli lwa bbalaza n'olwokusatu ofune okunnyonnyola okulambulukufu okuva ew'omukenkufu. Buuza kamisona.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala, we have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Now, today we are going to be discussing something that I believe some of you could have ever heard of, others have not, but yet somehow, somewhere, this happens and it's very important for our country. That is the civil-military relations. Now, civilians and the people we call in uniform, the military, how do we ensure that the relationship between these two is okay, is good, and fosters national development? Now, with me on set, I have retired Colonel Dr. Ronald Rubare, who is the Operation Wealth Creation attached to the Ministry of Finance and the board of the Center for African Affairs and Diplomatic Studies. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Nyonyintono.
Now, to begin with, let's look at first the civil and military relationship. Yes. One would wonder, why would we even think about it? Because many remember it very important during the Bush War, yes, now that ended, because these were military people, but they needed so much But in modern day, I mean, why would it be something that we should even think of to be discussing?
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm honored to be here. And it's good it comes at when I'm 67 years old by April 12 this year. And I feel I'm in the group of elderly, which means I've also seen events happen in this country. Of course, I'm on the board of the African affairs which you have mentioned, but more so is that I've lived it in the country. One, from 86 to 2019, I've been in uniform. And in the army or in the forces, there are two parts, combat and combat support. Without combat support, the combat people will not achieve the mission. So you'll find the category of combat support is so critical for mission achievement. That's why you find the whole of the medical services. In that sector, I'm quite highly qualified, and what we call to conserve the fighting strength, whereby maintenance of the medical equipment, of the health of the soldiers, maintaining them, returning them to battle, and even post-battle, and even after stabilization phases, after an operation has taken place. Now, the civil-military relations is really about three things, three linkages. That's the armed forces. I'm careful as choosing the armed forces because we have evolved. All those who are bearing arms now are armed forces. Those days, armed forces meant only the army. But all those now bearing the state weaponry are armed forces. And then on the other side, you have the state. In our last symposium, the president defined for us, J.J. Odong, the minister, represented the president in opening it up, arranged by cards. He defined the state, defined the nation, and defined the country. It is the state which has the three pillars of governance of the people. And the president was very clear about the historical mission. And that historical missions, it unites the people. So the three pillars must work in a tandem for the historical mission to unite the people. And the nation moves from nation building. Originally, it was people talking the same language, behaving the same way, and formed the nation. And of course, the country is land. So civil-military relations is about society, is about the armed forces, and actually the state, which is the politic or the political leadership. And this has become not just a talk show, but it's embedded now in the academia, in sociology and political science. And the academia, since the end of the World War, it started with the US and the China. That's why you find in the history, you find even the quote General Sun Tzu, the German also, von, Howitzer, whatever is the other name, you had to pronounce German names. And at that time, the issue was that after the mobilization of the forces for war, you have to demobilize the forces, which means they go back to the society. So the relationship must be well knitted. There must be agreement. There must be working together.
How do we knit this relationship? Because one would say, when we see the armed forces, now it has been broadened. Previously, we would say the UPDF. Now, one would say, usually their presence is not for peace. Okay, they are to restore law and order, and of course, peace. But the way trends are changing, the way we have lawlessness, but also the various methods used to restore peace or order, how do we build this relationship? It seems the gap is widening.
It's true. Actually, the gap is noticed. And that's why we come in to exist among many others. But basically, you must find where is this, as far as our historical mission of Uganda, where is it anchored in? Because it must be the law to anchor the civil-military relations. So where is it anchored? It must be anchored within the law. And as I normally joke, that on my desk, I have two black books. One is the Bible, and the other one is this Constitution.
Constitution, yes.
Actually, I don't know why they are all black. I've always wondered. But the content inside is white. And here I have the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as at 30th September 2020, which is a bit recent. And let's get to the anchor. Because I personally keep reading this like the Bible. Normally we leave it to the lawyers and the politicians to interpret. But I do believe every Ugandan must have this simple book so that we are, and I remember when I bought it, it only cost 25,000 shillings. It's not expensive. I keep the receipt in here. When we ask ourselves, let's go to chapter 12, the defense and national security. Uganda People's Defense Forces. Now let's go to Article 209, the functions of the defense forces. Actually, there are four, but conveniently, as you have mentioned, people talk of A. It is A to D. Very briefly, A is to preserve and defend the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Uganda. That's where everybody tries to stop. But remember, the Constitution was made by the people.
Yes.
They had other things to consider. And that's where civil-military relationship comes in the last three. B is to cooperate with the civilian authority in emergency situations and in cases of natural disasters. Ask yourself, who is the civilian authority? That's the state leadership. Because they are the ones who have the mandate to help the Bududa, to help the Kasese, Nyamwamba breaking, and all the other emergencies. So that's B, it's about the state. C, to foster harmony and understanding between the defense forces and the civilians.
Harmony and understanding.
Between the defense forces and civilians.
Please repeat that.
Among the functions of the defense forces, C is to foster harmony and understanding between the defense forces and the civilians. And lastly, D is to engage in productive activities for the development of Uganda. Now, on those last two,
foster, then develop.
Let's roll back the tape. From when you do remember, we have had what we call Taresitas, remembering the 6th of February. On that occasion, we fostered the relationship. It's a reminder that we must continue to have harmony. We clean the streets. We do some civil works. 2, you see the engagement of the engineering brigade. In all those functions they are doing, you find we are now doing the service support instead of to the army, but to the civilian. Health center 2s, health center 4s. That's reminding ourselves of that. Then let's jump and go to D. 2013 was one of those who was picked, among others, colleagues, for Operation Wealth Creation. That is back into the civilian. And we did our civic right. Yet we are all active duties. Many of us now are retired. We started as 53, we are now over 900. To continue, where most of them are civilians. That's civic right. So those are the basic examples. Now, why do we come in now? As they say, you don't fix something unless it is broken. So why is that desire to remind the populace? It's because we have some bad incidents which have come up to as recent as Kawempe. We do remember that we had the Kayunga, I think it was called the Kayunga something.
Yeah, the Kayunga riots.
Kayunga riots. That's when the first test that the civilians and the armed forces went into conflict, which was uncalled for. But what was wrong? It was sudden, fast. Those who know why. But many of us, I remember, was in Sudan at that time, and we watched it on TV, on satellite TV, and we were so hurt, really hurt of what we saw, which I can't repeat. Then we come to the last elections. We saw the breakdown. Then we come to the perception or perceived perception of what happened in the recent Kawempe elections. So we say, wait a minute, what is the problem? Because I'm now retired. Retired, although not tired, because I'm still actively doing this work for the state. But many of my colleagues have retired, and they are there in the society. And civil-military relations, I said, was like a triangle, 3. We have got the armed forces, the society, and the state. They have gone back to the society. Now, the whole issue is that the harmonization and the mixing and acceptance of these 3 to achieve one thing, which the president calls the ultimate mission, is to unite the people.
The ultimate mission is to unite the people, but Colonel, retired, if we are to talk about uniting the people, I'll take you back to history. The good thing is what I'm talking about, you've been part of the history. One will tell you that during the Bush War, the civilians played a very pivotal role in that there's that very good relationship. Not to say today that the relationship is not there, because if you asked many Ugandans on the street that if you're moving around and you found soldiers and police officers, where would you feel more safer? They will tell you still soldiers. But now we are at a time when, first and foremost, soldiers were rarely to be seen in some of the incidents we are talking about. For example, quelling a riot. I remember, and I think I discuss it often with people, that for us when we were growing up, red top was never seen anywhere. And the first time for me to see red top, I think there was issues then that Tabliks were taking over mosques in Kampala. I remember my father coming, picking me from school, driving very fast and saying, "Baye military muchibuga," meaning they have poor military police in the city. And much as I was young, but I could understand that it was danger. Everyone's face was so timid, everyone, you'd see the panic and the fear. Now, by the time I went to high school, it had become the order of the day. Today is the order of the day. Now, this proximity, this regularness, of course, the more you're in the public, likely incidents that may tarnish are prone to happen. And when they happen, and maybe out of ignorance or a lack of right information, it will automatically come back to the forces. And it will worsen that relationship.
Thank you on that observation. The good thing, I lived it. I do remember when the military, because I was in uniform, the military police was brought on the street. At that time, a sector of the Muslim, currently called Tablighs at that time, they have grown big, they have got more disciplined, they have united themselves back into the mainstream and others, but they remain separate. At that time, by design or omission or commission, they decided to capture the mainstream mosques, capturing them, turning them to themselves. And it certainly caught the country in a shockwave that, wait a minute, we have freedom of worship. The mainstream Muslims knew they were moving on with their normal life, but a sector has come in, is capturing the mosques. And they had their trousers cut, half of them, half of the lower side. And the police tried to intervene. And I do remember that time, they were calling the key, I think some policemen died, because I remember there was a word called Abata police. It emerged that Abata police said about Tabligh at that time. So the state moved in swiftly to swiftly and contain that situation. And that's how that incident of the military police had to come in. And rightly so, it is the birthright of the state with all its coercive forces not to allow degeneration of security, because they are the ones on duty. And let me move you to the current situation so that you understand. Now, you look the shock wave which has gone through the USA as we talk now. Now, the governor and the others and the mayors didn't know that the president, who is an executive president, they believe in their individual constitution of the states, cannot act and bring in the National Guard. It was a birthright of the state. But they were never used to this type of riots. Such a situation has never happened. But the president swiftly has moved in, and also moved in Marines. So you can see the civil-military situation is evolving in the USA, which has never been anticipated. They thought it is West Coast, LA, and Los Angeles, and California. Now, as I talk from news, as I talk now, almost all the states, all the cities are beginning to riot. They're saying that is manhandling, it has never been heard of. Now, they have a situation on their hands, and the state has to move in swiftly and find a solution. So some of these incidents, which you can quote in our Ugandan recent history, is about such events which evolve rapidly, and the state must move in swiftly to curtail it. Of course, in the design, there is many theories. The convergence theory, the theory which was created, of course, by the civilian authority, that the military must remain subordinate to the civilian politic, which is true in this country. It does not matter who is in the state level, but the military must be subservient. And that's why, even if you are a general, you must salute a cabinet minister, because that's how to appreciate that we are under you. And no other person exemplifies that than the humility of our General Salim Saleh. I remember there was, if he would allow, his watch would allow me to say this, there was an incident which happened. He happened to be in Luwero. I had been invited as the main speaker, and they invited the Minister of Finance as the chief guest. Now, the Minister of Finance asked Honorable Kasolo, he had just come in, to be the chief guest. Honorable Kasolo was committed, asked me to be the chief guest. I was a major at that time. Now here was, my own boss was the main speaker, but I was the chief guest. So we were in Nakaseka at that time, 2015, I've forgotten what it was at that time. So the MP came and said, Major, get up. Let's go and line up and welcome, the general is coming. I said, no, I'm the chief guest. Because I was holding portfolio of the Minister of Finance. He couldn't believe what I was saying. A major not going to line up to meet, to welcome the General Saleh? I said, I'm the chief guest. Go and bring him, I will welcome him here. So when he came, he looked at me in his glasses. I stood up, shook his hand. I said, sir, you are shaking the hands of the Minister of Finance. He said, sawa, excellent. Those are the two words he said. But the amusing part was, I told him, but you see, I'm to talk last. Why can't we change the agenda that you talk last? You are senior. I talk before you. He said, no. You are going to talk to the nation. And I'm going to invite you to talk. And that's what he did. It was a situation I'd never experienced, the humility and the follow of protocol. But there is something he asked me to do before he gave me the microphone, which I did very well. And he gave me the microphone. But he said, I put him there on behalf of the president in finance, but he's now the boss. So he's the one going to address the nation. And I saw the humility, and that's what has guided me.
Now, you're talking about the humility, and one would say that has also been one of the picture of the armed forces as you look at the civil-military relationship. Now, 2026 is here, and many people are worried. Worried because of Uganda has a huge population of the young who saw nothing about history. They weren't there when you come and talk to us about certain things. I mean, we are glad we saw the movie, the 27 Guns, yes. But you can't talk to someone maybe who never slept hungry, who never ran for their lives, but they appreciate that, yes, there are people who sacrificed, and they honor them, and we celebrate you people. Now, this crop of Ugandans is very determined. They have so much excitement. Yesterday I was watching affairs at the NUP office. So how these young boys came in a certain car with zeal, excitement, fun at the same time, everything. Now you come and say there is lawlessness happening here, and please vacate. And they will say, no, it is our right. These are the things you fought for. Now the armed forces are going to use coercive force. Sometimes they use the word reasonable force. Let me borrow that.
Yes.
Of course, I don't know who measures and what guarantees what is reasonable or not. Now, when you use reasonable force to subdue them, it doesn't go well with them, neither the society. It worsens. And most of the times, we've left it at that. So what efforts, Colonel, are you doing to ensure that even when these things happen, maybe either people can have information that there were illegalities, or, yes, we accept on our side, this was excess of us. And these are the steps we took.
Thank you very much. You know, there's sometimes I reflect. I said, why do members of parliament, why are they called honorable? And why are they called honorable? Then I realized that they are called honorable because they are responsible for legislation. for making all of us follow the rule of order by legislation, which they put for us to follow. And they're supposed to be the first example.
What they put.
They're supposed to be the first example, and that's why they are called honorables. But the moment they don't fulfill that obligation, they kind of show a picture of not being honorable. I know I was one time on TikToks and social media, whereby officially I had a confrontation with a lady whom you well know, who is not, I don't want to mention her name.
It's okay, don't.
You know her well. She's not short of controversy. We met in Katosi Road, and I remember my uncle in Portfolio said, "What are you doing with that crazy woman?" I said, "No, it is called job hazard." And some friend in finance was actually in Beijing. He said, "I'm seeing you on TikTok. What is going on?" I said, "Hey, are you back in Uganda?" He said, "No, I'm in Beijing." He said, "How did you get to me? It's just a few hours ago." He said, "TikTok." You see the speed at which things move. It's so fast. Within 30 minutes, I was on TikTok, and someone in Beijing could see me in uniform, not confronting, but humbly telling an honorable member of parliament that, could you be Honorable so-and-so? Said, "Yes, I'm Honorable so-and-so." I said, "But what you have just done is nothing honorable. You have done a dishonorable thing." And he never saw my message. So I had to change face and bring the military attitude, and ordered his escort, her escort, to come forward in a very loud voice. And everybody scampered. And I told her quietly, "Please do me a good favor. Don't touch this uniform." That's one. Number two, you are in my breathing space. Because it was this close. He says, "Don't touch the uniform. You're in my breathing space." I told her, "Take your principal away from in front of me. I'm on official duty." And they did that smoothly. And they called the DPC, "Take charge. I've done my part." Took the charge. But what am I bringing this incident for? Is that the honorableness turned dishonorable. Here we have got the people in NUP, the majority, in opposition. Many of them are honorable. They should be able to be part of the civil relationship. Because you see, there are three. So they are in the state side. They should be able to link with the social side. Because the other component is the armed forces. So they should be able to tell their people, this is how we should behave. This is how we should, for why? The historical mission of uniting our people with one goal. Of course, the one goal is peace. For them as civilians, I mean as the honorables, they want to get their jobs back. And it's their right. By the way, forgive me, it's the right of the opposition to unseat the leadership so that they can sit there also and exercise what they think is best for them. But it's also the right of those who are seated in that chair not to allow these ones to unseat them and continue governing the state. So that is bound to have a conflict. But what do we need to do as individuals in a nation is concentrate heavily in the civil-military education. That is the three components of civil-military relationship.
Have we focused on it? Because
we have greatly focused on it.
How?
One, when you hear what you have been broadcasting on a daily basis as UBC, how UPDF Engineering Brigade has been building up. I've been watching the narrative of the commanders whom you have captured. They say, we have been working together with the civilian authority on the ground, not in the state even. We have worked with the civilians who have done the mixing, the hardcore. We have been in a tandem. That's part of a civil-military relationship. And they have done it very well. I'd like to congratulate you on that one. everybody, tell you the truth, loves what the engineering brigade has done in what they are building. You know, university dormitories, nursing dormitories. And each time you interview the people, and they say, we have worked closely with the military. To me, that's what I define as civil-military relations. Not forgetting the civilian authority. Now, those scholars are always there. They'll tell you the best balance of power. You know, they believe that both military and civilian leadership should not be balanced. They say when they are balanced, they could be, it's not when they're doing a kilo of meat, this man cuts off a small bit and drops it there, and the meat, the scale balances the other side, or balances this side. They believe the best outcome, the balance must be tipped up where the civilian politic have dominance over the military, so that the military does not become authoritarian in managing the politics of the country. And the other scholars believe there must be a convergence theory. And in that convergence theory is that they must be converged at a level whereby they agree on a few very basic things. And ultimately, as they put scholars, that the military must accept that civilian authorities have the right to be wrong. I never, that for them they have a right to be wrong, Can you imagine the military accepting that the civilian have a right, the leaders have a right to be wrong? And the other part, which is very amusing, is that they may be responsible for carrying out a policy decision they disagreed with. You see, in Parliament, the opposition disagrees, but the government implements. But the military must also learn that the political leadership authority can implement what they disagreed with. Of course, what I don't agree with is that those who disagreed come on air and again disagree on air and say, I didn't support this one. No, it's already captured in the Hansard. Why do you tell all of us that
we boycotted? We boycotted. We weren't part of that. So
you see, but that's the point. They're saying the politics. And then the other part is that civilian supremacy over the military is a complicated matter. These are scholars in sociology and social sciences. And the rashness or wrongness of a policy or decision can be sometimes ambiguous. In fact, I put here a comment that currently maybe Trump's decision is really ambiguous. Both his side and not his side and the world don't seem to get it. It's ambiguous. The tariffs, the what, the evacuation. In fact, the current serious situation which you need to capture is that by last night, you know, the president of Mexico is a lady. Has a stern warning, because what this arrangement of bundling them, the Mexicans from the street and shipping them away, there's another thing which we have not captured. We in finance, we need to debate about it. The remittances. He's putting 3.5% charge tax on remittances. And yet Uganda has been benefiting
from
remittances of Ugandans abroad.
Yes.
And when we say abroad, a lot of them are in the USA.
Yeah, in the US.
So if that one, somebody has not actually interrogated that, is it affecting across the board? If it's across the board, then I have a cause to talk to my senior elder, Kasaija, about remittances. If they're going to tax them, then we have a shortfall
Definitely
of what we are proud of.
Now, time seems to be flying, but Kano, in this day and age, what is the outstanding challenge towards military and civilian relationship?
The outstanding challenge is the king, or the, not civilian authority, but the politicking. Of course, you can't blame longevity of your grandfather. You know, I used to joke that you can't wish your grandfather death so that you can take over his house. As long as he's still alive, you're subordinate to him. You just pamper him and let God manage that part. The longevity has created certain issues of what Mzei's Bazukulus are. And the 3 levels of generations have been created. You see, I'm the other generation, you're in that generation, the other generation. But there's been a gap in the civic education, so that there is transcending from one generation to the other, as our grandparents used to do, and around a bonfire. They tell you what you did, what he did in the brevet and all that stuff. So it is carefully put in. Now, as we talk now, is it just a talk show? Where is the actionable area? In building Pan-Africanism, we started with nationalism, the 4 pillars of NRM. But the first one, you must be a nationalist. You must be a nationalist. And sometime I gave my retirement book to a colleague when I was addressing some senior people, I think, in Entebbe. I said, you read for them, they may think I'm lying. Military conduct, you read, because you have not retired. You also want that one. Military conduct was very good. But there's something in the citation there that in 36 years, he has been a true cadre of the cause. Some general wrote it there, that I've been a true cadre of the cause. So I asked the yellow people who were in the tent, I said, I know all of you are cadres, but are you true cadres? And if you are true cadres, do you know the cause? Until I had to explain them that the cause is actually the 10-point program. And even I went on to elaborate that the president has never left the 10-point program. I said even the Karamoja was in the 10-point program. Social economic transformation is the 10-point program. He has never deviated away from the original 10, although the nation has moved on from 10 to 15 to manifestos. You see, that's how transition is. But now when we come to what you have asked, have we carefully transitioned ourselves? Do we have we transformed ourselves into the nation? You remember the issue of the nation? Abasakimu, Ngenkuyege. Is there the missing link? Okusakimu, Ngenkuyege. So that is national building. Or have we retained the separation of Tasakimu, but we have a state?
We have
a state with the 3 pillars of executive,
but not working in tandem
with the society, because we have not done that. And that's what every election, people are blaming the Electoral Commission. You have not done enough civil education. Not enough civil education. To me, in electioneering period, they should do a lot of civil military relations. That is one of the key answers. The other second part, the state, I'm sure, must revisit its capacity and the education, civil education in them, so we curb the excesses of those who are youth. You see, as the other youth, as you said in Noob, the excitement and all that, they are the same youth who are in uniform. Although they are trained, you see, they are the same age group.
So these ones are pushing for what they desire.
Yes, these ones also
have their excitement.
What they're excited about. So all of them are youth. They are not Generation Z as a Gen Z, but they're the same Bazukulu. They are the same people. And as the general put it one time, that demographics. You know, he likes, Genocide likes it. When you are in a gathering, he said, how many of those like me above 60? He stands up first, and we all stand up, and we are few. But when it reaches 45 and 40 and below, they are the majority. He said, we are thinking for those ones. Do we understand them? And maybe another part which I would like to inform you, as part of what really brings me to this position, is that I was invited to attend the peeping of our CDF, our General Bombo, and peeping of two people, Kayanja Mwanga, and peeping both and take over. But there's something the General reminded us there who could listen. He said, well, I've not been in the mainstream for many years, but I need guidance. I've brought on one side UPDF, and this other side is also UPDF. Do you know which was this other UPDF? Uganda People's Development Forum. All the MDs and EDs were seated there, from the Kajinas and all the other MDs, all of them, NAD, all the MDs. And they said, all the generals said, I wanted these generals to meet you, and you're all UPDF. This UPDF, the civilian one, must understand that you are responsible for protecting them so that they can do their work. And you also must understand that without them, you have no money. You can't survive as UPDF. And he asked for guidance whether he should keep the civilians there. I want to mention the decision which was taken, but that reminded me of civil-military relations at the upper level, that there must be an understanding of an MD, who is an MD of Post Bank or a bank, to know that without the military capabilities and presence, he can't operate.
Yes.
And also the military general must appreciate the efforts of the MD on the other side, that without this MD and his team, he has no money to operationalize. So that is something which came to my heart. And I'm really grateful for having been associated with such wise people, and to be proud that I'm part of it.
Well, Colonel, time, we've run out of time, but I'll just give you a minute to have your parting shot.
Okay, Nyonyi Ntono, in fact, when we always watch you on TV, my spouse asked me in Nyankore that, what does Nyonyi Ntono mean? I couldn't explain much more. I said, that must be a royal name. I've had it with somebody very important also. Must be that's the lineage. So I'm so grateful for having hosted me. And I also would wish to ask the fraternity of all the three arms of civil-military relations. That's the society. Must understand, read the Constitution. Read what is
I don't know
happening.
how many Ugandans have read the Constitution.
Yes, everybody should have that. It's 25,000 shillings only. I have the receipt here from the bookshop. Number two, all the forces of the state must do what they're expected to do, because this is the Uganda People's Defense Forces, peoples. And the society must appreciate that they won't exist without the UPDF or the police or the other forces. So with those words, I'll repeat that I'm pleased that I'm representing the cards, which is really, we're not about Uganda only, but charity begins at home. We must start with this country, and then we look at the neighbors, and the neighbors' neighbors, until we do go to Pan-Africanism of our efforts to have civil-military relations proved. And lastly, I would rather say, as I said it the other time in the symposium, where are our ambassadors? The whole world is on fire. Where is the ambassadors? Where is the Mugumes? How many Mugumes do we have? How many, is it the late Kofi Annans? Died, I think. How many Kofi Annans are there? Professor Lumumba wakens up, in fact, he lights the candle everywhere he goes about Africa. But who takes up what he says? We need to develop our ambassadors. Our strength must be start from here for East Africa, so that we're able to do what we do best, those who have done international relations and diplomacy, so that we avoid conflict and we concentrate on negotiations and understanding. Those would be my parting words.
Well, thank you so much. It is very important indeed that we have these good relations, because at the end of the day, if everyone understood that coexistence that my guest has been talking about, the world would be a better place. Have the best of your day. May the good Lord bless you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Live from UBC studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.